Geez, what a cheek to make this assumption. I saw this comment on a video last week. The person leaving the comment, a male, it was a male name, said that superannuation had been in place for the last 40 years and he didn't understand why people retiring now didn't have at least 1 million in savings. Go figure. Well, when I read that, I saw red. I thought, seriously? What the hell? Please. But first, if you don't know me, I'm Chris. I'm the remote reseller. I'm living in a caravan park, in a cabin. It's a bush caravan park in eastern Victoria, Australia. I'm a part-time reseller on eBay, and by day I'm a program coordinator for a financial counselling service. Let's go back 40 years, the year 1985. I was 25, about to start my first pregnancy. I was working in a government position at that time, but back then when you left the job, your superannuation was paid out to you. I bought a nice stereo unit with that money. I was a fantastic saver. At 19, I owned my car and I had enough saved for a deposit on a block of land. Plus, I'd taken myself on a holiday to Western Australia and my relationship with money was great. I got married at 19 and still saving, had an emergency fund to pay for a car motor that blew up, and we started buying our first home at age 20, and I had a special bank account set up specifically for bills to be paid, always with a float of around $2,000. I knew what I was doing with money. Thanks, Mum. Thank you to my mum, she was good. My husband was an employee in a family-owned business, and in 1985 there was no rule for private enterprise to pay superannuation. Let's take a quick look at the superannuation timeline, 1985 to 1991. Pre-1985, superannuation was largely restricted to public servants and white-collar employees of large corporations, with only about 32% of the workforce covered. In 1985, there was a push to broaden coverage beyond public servants and large corporations. The Australian Conciliation and Arbitration Commission endorsed superannuation as an employment condition in 1986, laying the groundwork for its growth. In December of 1987, the government introduced the OSSA Act, and this legislation set operating standards for superannuation funds. And the number of private sector employees covered by super increased significantly, rising from just 32% in 1987 to 68% by 1991 due to contributions being added to some industrial awards following the National Wage Case Guidelines. But it still wasn't compulsory. Not in 1991 anyway. So let's go to 1992. Things started to change. In 1992, legislation was passed to introduce the compulsory superannuation guarantee. Employers were required to contribute a percentage of employee wages, initially 3%, into super, and with the rate set to progressively increase. So 3%, not exactly setting the world on fire. The super guarantee scheme continued to grow, with contributions steadily increasing to reach 9% by 2002, so that boosted national savings. The compulsory super guarantee rate continued to increase slowly over those 20 years, and as of July 2025, the employer super guarantee contribution is set to reach 12%. Well, it's got there now. Whilst all of these changes were progressing superannuation savings, there were still issues for those in casual and part-time jobs. There was a cap on how little you could earn and have super paid, and in fact for some years there was just no super paid for casual earnings. Then the waterline figure changed to a monthly income number. If you were over it and you got super paid, but if you were under it, you didn't get any superannuation paid on your behalf. In the mid-1990s, I was now the mum of 3, and I was re-entering the workforce into, you guessed it, casual and part-time roles to fit around family. Until the year 2000, I barely earned enough for superannuation to be paid. Things did improve for me in 2003 when I started a full-time job. I was very excited to watch my efforts pay off with my first superannuation account. I quickly learned I could make pre-tax contributions, and from that moment I took advantage of it and the savings, and I contributed $100 a fortnight. I maintained that habit, increasing it over time until 2018, and I was able to max out the pre-tax contributions at $600 a fortnight. All these savings, as appreciative as I was still only $250,000 at age 60. So I ask, where is my $1 million? I continue to work and I continue to salary sacrifice into super, but my hours are now reduced at age 64, my choice to reduce the hours. Quickly looking at my husband's situation, he was earning more than me, and from 1995 he was accruing superannuation. Neither of us were in the defined benefit scheme. We just missed that one. By age 60, he had about 320 in super, boosted along the way by making some pre-tax contributions also. At age 63, his position was made redundant. We decided that he would not continue in the workforce, but rather he would use his talents to fix up this cabin and turn it into a home. We did own a home, and when it was sold in 2022, we utilised the downsizer option and split the proceeds across both our superannuation accounts. I don't want anyone to think that we had a $1 million property. We surely didn't. And that was by design, because as we moved around the state with my husband's work, we only purchased low to mid-range value homes because they were easier and quicker to sell in the future, which suited us because we were never going to stay in those locations. We needed houses that we could flip when we needed to. Each of those homes was purchased as low a price as possible and improved thanks to my husband's wonderful skills. One home was purchased for $92 and sold for $315. Now maybe that's another story in itself. So here we are, without $1 million in super from employment, and it's time our kids' generation stopped criticising and assuming that we're all rich, or should be rich. We're the product of only half our working life accumulating super. Our 3 kids all have more super at age 35 than we did at age 50. They have a significant head start on us, and I hope they all take advantage of the savings and enjoy their own retirement in 2050. So I hope this explanation helps relieve some of the guilt for us late boomers or early Gen Xers, particularly us girls, and hopefully this improves others' understanding and assumptions and gives some insight into how life really works. And of course, this is a fairly linear example. For others who had health issues, relationship changes, caring responsibilities, well, your situation is even less likely to be $1 million in super. So thank you if you got this far listening to my rebuttal to a particular comment. Take care, and if you're still working, make those contributions to super to boost its end value. So cheers everyone, and I'll see you in another video.